I might cry a little, but I'll try not to. Our son Finn was 10 years old when we first heard the words that would change our lives forever. On December 22nd, 2022, 3 days before Christmas, we were told that our son had acute myeloid leukemia. While most families were wrapping presents, preparing for holiday celebrations, we were sitting in a hospital room trying to understand how our healthy, active, video gaming son suddenly had cancer. In a matter of hours, everything changed. One day, he was just a kid, worrying about school, hanging out with his friends, and the next day we were talking about chemotherapy, survival rates, and transplant plans. That's what childhood cancer does. It doesn't wait, it doesn't care about holidays, and it doesn't give families time to prepare. Then began aggressive chemotherapy Christmas Eve of 2022. And when I say aggressive, I mean months in the hospital, isolation, round after round of treatment that just didn't attack the cancer, it attacked his whole body. He lost his hair, he lost his strength, he missed school, birthdays, football games, and just being a kid. Childhood cancer doesn't make kids sick, it steals childhood. But here's what it didn't steal from Finn. It didn't steal his smiles, it didn't steal his kindness, and it didn't steal his ability to think about other people, even when he was in the fight for his life. When chemotherapy wasn't enough, Finn needed a bone marrow transplant. That meant wiping out his immune system completely. That meant starting over. That meant weeks of isolation and months of recovery. But it still meant hope. Because a transplant is brutal, it is also his only chance for a cure. For 2 years, Finn fought with everything he had. He endured more procedures than we can count, more days in the hospital than at home, more physical pain than any child should ever have to endure. And through it all, he was brave. Not the loud, superhero kind of brave, the quiet kind. The kind where you smile at the nurses even when you feel awful. The kind where you tell your mom and dad it's going to be okay, even when you're the one who's sick. At 12 years old, we lost Finn. Not because he stopped fighting, not because he had relapsed, not because his transplant wasn't successful, but just because his body had suffered so much just trying to survive. There's no way to fully explain what that feels like as a parent, but his story did not end there. Because while the effects of cancer and transplant treatment took his body, it did not take his impact. It did not take his kindness. It did not take his bravery. It did not take his generosity. And it did not take the ripple effect of his life. That's why we created our foundation, Friends of Finn Foundation, to support pediatric cancer and bone marrow transplant patients with comfort, care, and encouragement through the journey. Because we know what those rooms feel like. And because no family should walk that road alone. Finn's story is tragic, okay? It shouldn't have been him. But here's what I want you to know tonight. When you participate in Jagathon, when you raise money for Children's Miracle Network, You are funding the very treatments that give families hope. You are funding the hospital rooms where miracles try to happen. You are funding the teams who refuse to give up on the kids, like my son. I know a dance marathon might feel like one big high-energy celebration, and it is, but guys, it's something so much deeper. It's a declaration. It's young people standing up and saying, kids deserve better. Families shouldn't fight alone. We will use our energy, our voices, and our time to make a difference. That's powerful. That's leadership. You guys are showing love in action. You see, Finn taught us something in those hospital rooms. He taught us that even in the worst circumstance, you choose how to show up. You can choose to be kind. You can choose to encourage someone else. You can choose to bring light into dark spaces. And that's exactly what you all are doing here tonight. When you stay on your feet for 16 hours, when you push yourself to raise one more dollar, when you refuse to let childhood cancer be ignored, you are carrying kids like Finn forward. You are saying their lives mattered. You're saying their fight mattered. You're saying their stories will not be forgotten. You are their hope. And Finn's light, his bravery, his kindness, his generosity lives in rooms like this. So keep doing it, keep fighting, keep showing up, because what you're doing matters more than you know. This is for the kids, and for always, for Finn. Thank you.
We just want to thank you all for what you're doing for children that are going through this. Some things that you can also do besides just raise funds is go out there and sign up for Be the Match. I don't know if any of you have done that or not before, but it's bone marrow. They just swab you, and if you're the match, you might save somebody's life. If you can give blood, give blood. That's one of the things that challenges we had, where he was using so much, we had no platelets, so we had to keep getting transfusions. If you want to read more about Finn's story, go to friendsoffinn.org. Friends of Finn, F-I-N-N. That was my boy up there. Thank you guys for everything you're doing. You guys are the difference makers. Use your power. You guys be superheroes. Use your superpowers, okay?
And be like Finn. Be brave.
Be brave.
Be kind.
Be kind.
And be giving.
And be giving. Thank you so much for your time.